Today we will be talking about the summer I turned cringy.
Where you are, I will be my
Hello everyone and welcome to the Nadia Gilmore Show. You are in the Popcorn Perspective section. Today marks the end of summer and the beginning of fall, meaning that most of us have already started school, and unfortunately, vacation time is over.
It is over!
But for all of us, The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2 is released. Thankfully, Jenny Han released an episode every Friday between the month of July and August. Jenny Han claims that she did this so that we can enjoy The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2 all summer long. But for some reason, I believe she did it for the health of those that like to binge watch shows in one night. The opening scene is Belly laying down on the grass and she's looking up and Conrad splashes his hair on Belly, and she looks up, and then more goes on, and then Susanna is like, oh, you guys are so perfect for each other. Yeah, it was very awkward. But this all is not real. I know we would love that Susanna still lived and Belly and Conrad made up their minds and they decided to stay with each other, but nope, that didn't happen. She's actually at school and she's just daydreaming. She's actually doing really bad with her grades. And more drama. I will say there were a lot of flashbacks in this movie. I couldn't personally stand it because it was like so much that I actually got to a point that was so confusing. There was a scene where Jeremiah is picking up Belly to find Conrad, but then it just goes to a flashback of Conrad picking up Belly during Christmas time. And I was like, wait, what is Conrad doing picking her up? And Jaden's like, wait, I think it's a flashback. So it got so confusing at some points. But that's not the only low in this movie. Trust me, there are more. Episode 2. Nothing was interesting, so we're actually going to skip to episode 3. There's nothing. Episode 3. The TV turned on so fast. Like, I was like, oh my god. Like, he put the DVD in, and it was, like, already playing. I was like, oh my gosh, I swear I have to change the input every single time I'm on the TV. I at least once or twice. But yeah, it was extremely way too fast. Now, episode 4. Oh, there's a lot in episode 4. Talk about Skylar. I think she's the most disliked character in this TV show right now because she was so, not her personally, I don't think it was her as a person. I believe it was a character that she had to play. Oh my gosh, she was so annoying. And let's hear this before I talk about it.
It's they, not she. God, I guess it's been like a decade since I saw you guys.
10 years, as if that's like, oh well, you wouldn't know I'm like identify as they them because it's been like 10 years. Guess what, within those 10 years I became a freak. It's like, what the heck? Oh my gosh. So now she identifies herself as a they and them, which I thought was quite funny because throughout the entire show it never said she or her ever again. It was always Skylar. They always called her by her name and never said she or her. And I thought that was, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, oh, now you gotta call her they, them. And I feel like they knew that people weren't gonna continue with that of having to say they, them throughout the entire show. So then they just ended up having her just be called Skylar the entire time, which that's her name. But not everyone will refer to you as your name. Like, oh, she did really good, or I don't know. That was my opinion. I thought that was just kind of funny. But can we talk about Lizard Brain? Like, what? Just, oh my gosh. She was probably the most cringiest character in this movie. First of all, she wants to be identified as they, them for attention. And then second of all, she has a lizard brain. Like, that's just stupid.
Horrifying, or if it's just like the lizard brain in action. It's the lizard brain in action.
Lizard brain, that's just stupid. And then third thing is she's like, I don't do any high fives, hugs, or not like comebacks. She said something like, or like dissing, and then she did like all three except for the hug. She was like, no, I don't do hugs, and they're all like, oh, okay. like, get rid of her. She's so annoying.
I don't do high fives. I'm not gonna like whip in the air. I don't trash talk. The corners of my mouth might turn up just a little bit, but I'm not gonna smile.
A few moments later.
Whoa, right. Yeah.
And then can we talk about how Camp Cameron was open, like available throughout the entire day? If I do remember, he was working and he just like got off of his shift just to walk around with them. He did the climbing and like kind of help them with everything. And then he just ends up going home with them. It's like you're not gonna check yourself out or anything, you're just gonna leave. I'm like,
Now to Aunt Julia.
which as an aunt, she did a great job being like the stubborn, grumpy person, but she was just kind of annoying in my opinion. I don't know, she was just flat out annoying. And her daughter, they both could have gone. Which I actually read I read the not requests. I read the reviews, and actually, the aunt was never in the book. So I don't know why they decided to. I know Jenny Han is actually like changing up the book a little bit, the movie and the book, kind of, so that it's more relevant to this kind of day and age and connect more with teenagers. I get that, but I feel like it wasn't necessary to change that much, having to say they them. I did see a lot in the first season how she was all about buying that, and not like too much, but she made a lot of quotes about maybe you're interested in guys or girls, and just like not necessary things needing to be said were said in season one. I did see some of that, but in season two, the they them had to go. I was like, I think it killed me when I first saw Sky. I was like, oh yeah, she's a they them. I knew it right away. I knew she was gonna say something stupid like that, and she ended up saying that. Not surprised. Milo and Steven had this weird little fight, and Taylor ends up breaking up with Milo because she thinks their relationship was just immature, and then she she says because he didn't know her middle name. I think that was the reason why, because she was like, "What's my middle name?"
What's my middle name? I can't do this anymore. It's over.
Girls, if the guy does not know your middle name, yeah, break up with him. I'm obviously joking. Like, I don't even think my friends know my middle name, and I don't know theirs. So that's not a reason to break up with someone, but it was for Taylor. Yeah, stupid. Anyways, pop quiz. Do you remember what Taylor's middle name was? I know Steven did. Now, for her last name, I have no idea. It went something like Taylor. Let's move on to episode 7. Now, this was interesting. Belly ends up calling her mom. As her mom comes home, she talks to Aunt Julia, and then the biggest nightmare happens. There's a voiceover that does not end, and it starts in episode 7, which was so weird. Like, not even halfway through the season, just like towards the end, towards the last 2 episodes, and this voiceover is so annoying. Aunt Julia walks over to the pond. Now Aunt Julia walks away. Aunt Julia has something to say. And it's like, oh my good God. Like everything they did, she would have there would be a voiceover. Of course, what they said there wasn't a voiceover, but literally, if Stephen turned his head, they wouldn't. But they would say, Stephen gave Jeremiah a funny look. It's like, I can obviously see that. I'm like, I think they made a movie for a blind person. I kid you not. I don't know why they end up doing that, but I hope a lot of people can tell them that they hate it so that they don't do that for the next season. Which, spoiler, I read the reviews, and apparently in the last book, um, Belly marries Conrad, so Team Jeremiah's, don't be too happy. I'm sorry. Other than the annoying voiceover, I felt like the dad was so naive. He gave in so quickly. He was like, "No, I'm not keeping the house or selling it, and then he's like, well, I can't afford it since Julia changed her mind. Okay, we'll keep it. It was just so quick, I felt like. And then Conrad was happy again. I'm like, giving your dad attitude, and then you're now happy because you keep the house, whatever. Episode 8. Okay, so they're in the car together, and this part was just so weird to me. So obviously they're all hungry, and she's like, I can go for a burger. I don't actually know if she says that. I think she does. I don't know.
Actually, I'm starving and I have to pee, and I'd rather not drown in this car.
Anyways, and he comes back and gives her candy like that's gonna fill her up. She ends up eating it, and yeah, I just thought
At this point, it's not even cringy, it just doesn't even add up.
it didn't make sense. Like, pop quiz answer. Her middle name was Madison. Now, as for her last name, I don't think anyone catched it. And if you did, can you please put it down in the comments, because I've been trying to figure out what her last name was and I couldn't hear. Steven goes, can we talk about the album? The huge album being released in a matter of 2 nights. I actually did the not math. I was just like, I thought at first it was 1 night, and then I went through. I was like, no, because I stayed the night, and then it was the next day. I was like, oh yeah, it was only 2 nights. I don't think it takes like 34 hours to create a whole song. So for him to do it in 2 days was quite astonishing. But my sister actually found his song on Spotify. So if you do want to listen to Getting Even with Steven, actually you can just look up Getting Even with Steven on Spotify, and his song's actually out there. It's kind of funny. Altogether, the movie was very depressing to me because Susanna was dead, and I felt like she really gave a lot of energy, even though I never recognized that in season 1. Season 2, it showed how much of a disaster it was without her, which I feel like they purposely did that. But I think the biggest reason why was because the only drama going on was between Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, which I do believe that can make an effect on things when it's only a certain amount of people. I don't know, but I'm not going to say that the season was bad, because even with all of its cringiness, I ended up watching the entire season. And I loved, To All the Boys I Loved Before, I Still Love You. And then each 3 movies have different titles. And I love what Jenny Han is doing with her films. And I think she does a phenomenal job. But I think The Summer I Turned Pretty was the most cringiest movie TV show. But overall, I ended up watching the entire season. So I can't be like, I hated it, because since The Summer I Turned Pretty is all about being pretty, her becoming pretty, and all this drama between the boys, the scripture verse for this video is 1 Peter 3:3-4. Your beauty should not be your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, and of unfading beauty, of gentle and quiet spirit, which is great worth in God's sight. Which I love that scripture verse. I believe that is on my Instagram and YouTube bio. Just the scripture verse was great for this video, because The Summer I Turned Pretty is about her changing, becoming more beautiful, and the guys liking her and being drawn to her due to her outward appearance, sort of. And I guess she must have a great personality to get both brothers to like her. I don't know. But if you like this video, thank you for watching all the way through. I don't know how you bared with me, but you did. Thank you very much. And if you want, you can subscribe, like, and hit the bell button to get notified by my next videos. They'll be coming out like in probably 6 years. I take forever to edit. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, comment down below one of the 3 characters that you are in favor of removing in next season. Milo, Taylor's ex-boyfriend, which I think he is not going to be in it, or Skylar, or Camp Cameron. I keep calling him Camp Conrad, but Camp Cameron. So comment down below if you're Team Jeremiah or Team Conrad. I mean, I am thankful one thing of this season. It made me like Conrad a little bit more. Last season, he was just way too pouty. I'm like, oh my god, would you stop pouting? But I don't know. Which team are you on?
Un plat bien trop vite consommé a sauté les